It's 82, and we're in Amud Beis. We're going to start from Rabbi Akiva. It's like the middle of the page. Rabbi Akiva my iskas l'sheretz. So we had a discussion here in the Mishnah. We're talking about avodah zarah, an idol. And we said that it's tamei. Tamei means it gives off impurity. Of course, you're not allowed to worship it. That's not a shaila. It's not a discussion. It's not a machlekes. Machlekes is regarding what sort of impurity it gives off. So Rabbi Akiva says it gives off impurity like a nida. Well, what is that relevant to? So the Mishnah says it's relevant to masa. If you carry an idol, but you don't touch it, so will it make the person tamei? We said yes. We'll see exactly what Rabbi is going to say, what the machlekes is then. In the Mishnah, we just had Rabbi Akiva's opinion. Then we had a brisa, someone whose wall falls down, but his wall was a shared wall between him and a idol, a house of an idol, probably. It says when he has to build it back up, so he can't build the wall for the church. So he has to build his own wall, move it in, and there'll be like an empty space in between his property and this other property. They have things like that. If there's power lines in between properties, sometimes there's like there's like two fences and there's an area in between that no one really has access to. And then they move the power lines and then there's a big machlekes, whose property that is. So we said he has to move his wall in to build it. Okay. Rabbi came along and said that the machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanon regarding the comparison to a nida was not what you thought it was. You thought it was that it was if someone carries an avodah zarah, where Rabbi Akiva says that the person becomes tamei, and the Rabbanon say it doesn't become tamei. He says no. Everyone agrees that carrying an avodah zarah is tamei. What's the machlekes? Even mesama. Even mesama is this type of stone that doesn't become tamei because it's a heavy stone. But someone that sits on a nida that sits on it, or a zav that sits on it, what's under the stone does become tamei. That's a special din by a nida or by a zav. So we're saying that Rabbi Akiva holds. Everyone holds that carrying an avodah zarah gives off tumah. The question is, if an avodah zarah is on a stone, and underneath the stone is vessels, do those vessels become tamei like a nida? Rabbi Akiva says yes, and the Rabbanan say no. The main point of Rabbi's statement is that everyone agrees that carrying an avodah zarah gives off tumah. Of course, touching it gives off tumah, but even if you carry it without touching it. And then we have this Even Mesama that the Rabbanan hold that it's not. Okay, so we know that the rabbi's opinion was because it says Shakitz Tishaktzenu, that it's similar to a sheretz. Which Shakitz Tishaktzenu means that it's gross and disgusting in avodah zarah. So some people would say that verse when they walked by a church or something. Shakitz Tishaktzenu, V'sav Tisavenu. That was old custom. But shaketz could also be a sheretz. Sheketz could be a sheretz, a creeping creature. Well, a creeping creature gives off tumah only through touching. And that comparison, according to the rabbis, is telling us that it's not, doesn't give off tumah be'evan mesama. So the Gemara now says, Rabbi Akiva l'may hilchas ishkas l'sheretz. According to Rabbi Akiva says that avodah zarah has all the stringencies. If you touch it, of course, it's tamei. If you carry it, it's tamei. If it sits on a stone, placed on a stone, and vessels under it, all of that is tamei. So it's really compared to a nida. So why do I have a pasuk shakitz t'shaktzenu that compares it to a sheretz? What halacha do I get out of that?
Does avodah zarah actually have tumah, or the chachamim assigned tumah to it so that you wouldn't touch it?
Yeah, it's a rabbinic tumah. The Chachamim assigned it to it because they want it to be like an abomination. So there's rabbinic tamana. So the Gemara answers L'misham sheha, not the Avodah Zarah itself. The Avodah Zarah itself has all the strictness of a nida, Eben Mesama, and all of that. However, the articles that go along with Avodah Zarah, I don't know, little pans or whatever, dishes and things that are used for the Avodah Zarah, those are only tummy like a sheretz, through touching. There's a difference between the idol and its the parts that come along with it. What do you call those? I'm sorry?
Accessories.
Accessories. The accessories. Okay. The accessory package. Okay. What about the rabbis? Why is it compared to a nida? Now, this is an easy answer. Because Rabbi said, Lamasa. Because if you carry the Avodah Zarah, it gives off a tumah, and carrying, that's not a sheretz. A sheretz doesn't give off tumah through carrying. So it's compared to a nida to give off the tumah through carrying. However, that was just a question that's going to lead to another question that was a setup. So that says, so here we have an issue. If you want to say that it gives off tumah through touching and through carrying, but not through Even Mesama, not when it's placed on the stone. So what the rabbis did was they said, they compare it to a nida, it gives off tumah through carrying. They compare it to a sheretz, it doesn't give off tumah through if it's on a stone and there's utensils under it. But I could compare it to one item where I would get both of those halachas, and that's an avela, a dead carcass of an animal, where that gives off tumah through carrying and not putting on a stone. So why do I need the sheretz and the nida and to fight it out? Just do it to an avela. Compare it to an avela, and then I'll have that exact tumah that we're dealing with. Umar says, you're right. That could have worked as well. Nida, the fact that it compared it to a nida taught me something else, and that's necessary. That, I think this is a borrowed term. There is a question that the Gemara is going to discuss now and then a little bit later about if a Avodah Zarah is disassembled. It's like a Lego or something, Avodah Zarah, that has different pieces. So does it give off tumah like that in pieces? We're then going to discuss who's able to put it back to reassemble it, a regular person or a craftsman. That term, evarim, that means that it comes in pieces. Now we're using for a nida, and we say like this, that if there's a limb of a nida, it means it was cut off, it was amputated. So that limb would give off tumah as an aver menachai, which has certain halachas, but it doesn't give off that extra tumah of nida, which is like an Even Mesama type of tumah. It doesn't give that off. So very interesting. It wants to tell us that Avodah Zarah does not give off tumah when it's in pieces, when it's disassembled. Just like a nida doesn't give off tumah when it's disassembled. Okay, so notice we could have compared it to an avela, but wanted to compare it to a nida because of that one other item here, that if it's disassembled, it doesn't have that tumah that we spoke about. It's not broken, then it would be tahar legamri. We're saying that it's tameh, it just doesn't give off the tumah that we're discussing. Broken would make it not an Avodah Zarah anymore. Here it's just disassembled. One second. You're trying to tell me that why did we compare it to a nida? Because we're coming to tell me this interesting halacha that if it's if it's disassembled into pieces, that it doesn't give off a tumah, just like a nida doesn't give off a tumah in pieces. So that's a little bit of a problem, because there was one of the sages had a question. Does an avodah zarah give off tumah when it's disassembled? Why does he have a question? We have an answer. If this is the pshat, what was his question? The Gemara answers, Rav Chama bar Guria libed Rabbi Kiva ba'ila. You're right. According to the Rabbanan, it's clear that it's tahar when an avodah zarah is pure when it's disassembled. That's what the rabbis say it's compared to a nida for. Rabbi Akiva, on the other hand, had a very good reason to compare it to a nida. And because a nida gives off tumah when she sits on a stone, the thing that's under the stone becomes tummy. Avodah zarah that's on the stone also becomes tummy. I don't have an answer, according to Rabbi Akiva, if an avodah zarah is disassembled. My comparison to nida is not to tell me that if it's taken into pieces, it doesn't give off tumah. My comparison to nida was for a specific reason, that it gives off this extra tumah, even masama, the stone tumah. So according to Rabbi Akiva, that sage that had that question, Rabbi Chama bar Guria, is an avodah zarah giving off tumah when it's disassembled? That question was according to Rabbi Akiva, not according to the Rabbanan. All right. All of this was the explanation of Rabbi bar Nachmani, in the discussion about avodah zarah, if it gives off tumah when it's carried. Okay. So the movers would have this question: if they're moving some guy and he has an avodah zarah, do they become tameh when it's packaged and everything? Moving of a non-Jewish fellow's boxes in there is little avodah zarahs, whatever. Do they become tameh? According to Rabbi, both Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan hold yes. Rabbi Eliezer, it's Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar is the Amira in Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Lazar Eimer be'evan masama d'kol yama le'pligi d'lei matama. That's not the machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan about evan masama, about the stone, like the way Rabbi put it. Everyone agrees that an evan masama does not give off tumah, not the evan masama, but the avodah zarah on top of the stone doesn't give off tumah beneath the stone by avodah zarah. That's not the machlekes. Ki pligi b'masa. Machlekes is the way we thought originally. If you carry an avodah zarah, it's a machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan. Rabbi Akiva savar kenida mani de metabim v'masa avodah zarah metabim v'masa. Rabbi Akiva holds carrying an avodah zarah gives off tumah. Rabbanan savar kesheretz. Rabbanan say no, it doesn't. It's like a this dead whatever lizard. I don't know the 8 shratzim, and it gives off tumah only through touching, not through carrying. That's what the comparison to avodah. Ma'asher is leimatam b'masa. Avodah zarah leimatam b'masa. Avodah zarah doesn't give off tumah through carrying, and only through direct contact. Okay. We have basically, in summary, what we're doing here is we have machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan, the severity of the tumah of avodah zarah. We have a machlekes between Rabba and Rabbi Lazar, what the machlekes is, Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan. According to Rabba, it's more strict. Even the rabbis hold that it gives off tumah through carrying, and according to Rabbi Lazar, no, it's more lenient. The rabbis hold that there's no avodah zarah doesn't give off tumah through carrying. According to this, Rabbi Akiva l'may hilchas iskas l'sheretz. Rabbi Akiva says that avodah zarah gives off tumah through carrying. So why does it say shaketz t'shaktzenu, that by avodah zarah compares it to a sheretz? What do we gain from that comparison? L'misham she'ah. Oh, by the way, that's the same answer that we had before, that the accessories that come along with avodah zarah don't give off tumah through carrying. Why did the rabbis compare it to a nida? There's nothing similar to a nida. Excuse me. It says, okay. Just like a nida that's taken apart, that means a woman that a limb was taken off and was amputated. So that limb won't give off tumah as a nida gives off tumah. Will give off tumah as a limb of a live person, which also gives off tumah, but it's not the same. So too, avodah zarah that's disassembled won't give off tumah. Just like the tumah of a nida doesn't come like that, so too a I'm explaining this the way Rashi learns it. There's another pshat in this, which is much sweeter than saying that we're taking apart a person. The other pshat is that if I have a klicheres, let's say, a klicheres is tamei not by touching, but by putting something inside, in the airspace. So if a nida puts her arm in the airspace of a klicheres, it won't give off tama, because it's only a varim that entered into it. It's only a limb that entered into the airspace. That's an easier pshat. If the whole nida would go in, then yes, into a klicheres. But the airspace, just the hand entering into, or a leg entering into the airspace of a klicheres won't make it tummy, because it's a varim. It's just anyway. Rashi's not learning like that. I'm not sure why, but okay. So according to Rabbi Lezer, we asked, why does Rabbi Akiva compare it to a sheret? We said, oh, that's not talking about Avodah Zarah, that's talking about the accessories. Why did the Rabbanan compare it to a nida? That's to tell us the leniency that it doesn't give off tuma and ivarim. Rabbi Akiva l'may hilchas ishkus l'nida. This is sort of like a setup as well, this question. Why does Rabbi Akiva compare it to a nida? I know the answer already. Lamasa. Because when you carry an Avodah Zarah, you get tumah. Just like if someone would carry a nida, they would become tummy. If a person would carry. So the Gemara says, well, masa, that would apply to a nevela as well. Look, sheila nevela. I have a much better comparison. If it doesn't give off tumah on the stone, what's underneath the stone isn't tummy. So that's an exact comparison to a carcass of a dead carcass of an animal, where it gives off tumah through touching and carrying, but not through the stone. And that's Rabbi Akiva's opinion of Avodah Zarah. So why are you comparing it to a nida? And then you have to say that it's not really a nida. Compare it to the nevela, and it's exactly a nevela. The Gemara says, you know, you're right. That would have been a good comparison. Now we're getting ourselves into trouble. We're saying we're comparing it to a nida because a nida doesn't give off tumah when a limb was amputated. So to Avodah Zarah doesn't give off tumah if it's disassembled. We're getting ourselves into trouble here because one of the sages had a question: does Avodah Zarah give off tumah when it's disassembled? And we said we have an answer. The rabbis told no, it's compared to a nida. So he said, oh, yeah, he was asking his question according to Rabbi Akiva, that we don't have such clarity. Because Rabbi Akiva used the nida to teach me that it gives off tumah through carrying. Now, we asked, why does Rabbi Akiva use a nida? He could have used a nevela. He said, oh, he uses nida to tell me that if Avodah Zarah is disassembled, it doesn't give off tumah. Now we're in trouble. Because according to the Rabbanan, it doesn't give off tumah when it's disassembled. According to Rabbi Akiva, it doesn't give off tumah when it's disassembled. Let's go back to that sage, Rabbi Chama Bar Guria, that had the question, does an Avodah Zarah give off tumah when it's disassembled? We have our answer according to both opinions. So what was he asking? Elahad by Rabbi Chama Bar Guria, Avodah Zarah yeshna leivarim eina leivarim. Rabbi Chama Bar Guria had that question. Tifshet lemeha, bein l'Rabbanan, bein l'Rav Kiva, deina leivarim. Now we're stuck. You've used up all your cards. You have nothing left, no other answers. The Gemara says, Rav Chama Bar Guria karaba masni ubayla ali b'd Rabbi Akiva. Yeah. Rav Chama Bar Guria doesn't learn this way. He learns that first way. And even that first way, he only goes according to Rabbi Akiva. He learns like Rabbi. According to Rabbi, you're right, according to this way, we're stuck. We don't have an answer to Rav Chama Bar Guria. Rav Chama Bar Guria can learn that way. You see, Rav Chama Bar Guria is a later Amira. So he's not stuck to learn like Rabbi Lazar. He can learn like Rabbi also. And he learns like Rabbi, and then his question was according to Rabbi Akiva, that doesn't tell me exactly if Avodah Zarah is disassembled, if it gives off Tumah. Because Rabbi Akiva's comparison to Nida, according to Rabbi, was that it gives off Tumah on Evan Masama. Didn't have that disassembled aspect. We didn't learn that law, according to Rabbi Akiva. So he had a good question that way. Okay, Meisvei. New question. Avodah Zarah Kesheretz. And Avodah Zarah, we quote a Brisa or a Mishnah, that's usually what a Meisvei is. Avodah Zarah is like Kesheretz, Mishamsheh Kesheretz. And its accessories are also like Kesheretz, the utensils that go along with it. Give off Tumah like Kesheretz, which means a creeping creature that's dead, if you touch it, gives off Tumah. So too an Avodah Zarah gives off Tumah if you touch it. Rabbi Akiva Aimer Avodah Zarah Kanida. The Avodah Zarah itself is like a Nida. Mishamsheh Kesheretz. But the accessories are only like Kesheretz. Now we're going to analyze which opinion this Brisa could fit with. Bishlam Rabbi Lazar Nicha. Rabbi Lazar is Rabbi Lazar ben Pedas. He held that the Machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan was about if you carry an Avodah Zarah. Where Rabbi Akiva holds that the person becomes Tameh, it's like a Nida. And the Rabbanan said carrying an Avodah Zarah is tar. Well, that's what it looks like over here. Avodah Zarah Kesheretz, it's tar. Carrying Avodah Zarah is only through touching that the Avodah Zarah will give off Tumah. So Bishlam Rabbi Lazar Nicha. This Brisa fits perfectly with Rabbi Lazar. Ela Rabba Kasha, but according to Rabbi, that says even the Rabbanan hold that carrying an Avodah Zarah gives off Tumah. The whole Machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan was about an Evan Masama. If Avodah Zarah is placed on a stone, Rabbi Akiva says the Kalim under the stone are Tameh, and the Rabbanan hold that they're tar. So what is the Mishnah saying? That Avodah Zarah is like a sheretz. It's much worse than a sheretz. It even gives off Tumah through carrying. Amalach Rabba's going to respond to you like this. Mi alima mi masnisin. You think this Brisa is stronger than our Mishnah, or the Mishnah that we quoted before from Avodah Zarah? Diktani, that Mishnah said, Eitzav avana v'afarav mitam kesheretz. He said that the stone, the wood, the stone, and the dirt that fell from that wall. What do we say then? Yeah. Give off Tumah like a sheretz. And Rabba over there explained that Mishnah. We said that's what it means, like a sheretz, that it doesn't give off Tumah from a big stone if something's placed on top. I've resolved bigger questions. I had a Mishnah that compared it to a sheretz. We said, what does it mean it's compared to a sheretz? It doesn't give off Tumah if it's placed on top of a large stone. Now you quote me a Brisa. It says it's compared to a sheretz. I'll give you the same answer. I'm not frazzled by that. Doesn't mess up my pshat. I've explained this before and with bigger questions. Okay, Meisvei. Another question. Nachri v'nachris, a non-Jew, and a non-Jew an honest Jew. A man or a woman non-Jew. That's the first part of this. And then the next part is Avodah Zarah Mishamsheh, or an actual idol, and its accessories. Hein v'lei haseitan. They are tamei, but not people that move them. The Satan are people that move them. There's something called hesed. Hesed is, usually it's the other way. If a zav, someone that's tamei, moves an item with like a stick or something without actually touching it. Dr. Stein, that's interesting. If he moves an item without actually touching it, so that item becomes tummy. That's called hesed. Here, we're taking the term hesed and we're doing it the other way. We're saying someone that moves an avodah zarah. It's not the avodah zarah. It's someone that's moving an avodah zarah. Basically, we're comparing it to carrying. Someone that carries an avodah zarah without touching is not tamei. Rabbi Kiva Amar Hein ve'aseitan. Kiva says no. They are tamei. That means the non-Jew or non-Jewish, and someone that carries them, or an avodah zarah, it's all tamei. The Gemara says 1 second. According to Rabbi Lazar, it says it's a machlekes Rabbi Akiva about someone that carries an avodah zarah. If it's tamei, if that person's tamei by carrying an avodah zarah, okay, that's what it looks like. The machlekes is here. Where the Rabbanan say carrying an avodah zarah is tar, and Rabbi Akiva says it's tamei. But according to Rabbi, everyone holds that carrying an avodah zarah is tamei. So what are you saying? Hesed of an avodah zarah, the hesed is like carrying. It should be tamei, according to the Rabbanan. Amalach Rabbi says 1 second. This brisa, this is like the best defense is offense. This brisa has its own problems. The Rabbi attacks the brisa. You have to amend the brisa. It has inherent difficulties, and you have to adjust the brisa. And once you adjust the brisa, you'll see that it's not a problem. It says like this: according to you, nachri v'nachris nami, when you have a non-Jew or a non-Jewish, so hein v'leya seitan, you say them and not the people that carry them. So 1 second, Tanya, but it was taught in the brisa dabral b'nei Yisrael v'goymer. Speak to the Jewish people. B'nei Yisrael metam beziva, v'nachar metam beziva. If a man or woman have a discharge, so they become tamei, that's only by a Jew, not by a non-Jew. Where do we know? Well, dabral b'nei Yisrael. Speak to the Jewish people. But the sages put a decree that a non-Jew is also is considered tamei, even without the discharge, just automatically tamei. They never become purified. They have this rabbinic tuma on them always, that they're considered like a ziva, like a zav. 1 second. A zav, if a person carries a zav, he's tamei. So what did we say? Nachri v'nachris, hein v'lei haseitan, only them are tamei, but not people that move them. If someone moves a zav, then tamei, and a non-Jew has the din of a zav. So there's a problem with the brisa. El Rabba mitarz l'tamei. So Rabba is going to answer this brisa according to the way he learns, that nachri v'nachris, hein v'haseitan, ve'evan mesama shalem. A non-Jew, as Rabbi is saying, we have to adjust this brisa because there's a real problem here. So let's adjust it. It comes to a non-Jew or a non-Jewish woman. They're tamei. If someone moves them, they're tamei. And the same as if they sit on a stone, and underneath that stone is utensils. Those utensils become tamei as well. Okay, now let's go further. Avodah zarah, when it comes to an idol, hi ve'haseitan. It and someone that moves it, masa, is tamei. Avalo yaven mesama shalah. See, once I can amend the brisa, once I have to amend the brisa for other purposes, so I'll fix it the way, I'll put the commas in the way it fits best. It's anyways not precise. Okay, so what Rabbi just did to the brisa was he adjusts it to fit that someone that moves a non-Jew becomes tamei. And while he's at it, someone that moves an avodah zarah is also tamei. It carries an avodah zarah. And that was Rabbi's opinion, that everyone holds that carrying an avodah zarah is tamei. The whole machlekes was by the stone. Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan say that it's tahar, and Rabbi Akiva says that it's tamei. So avodah zarah hi v'lei haseita. Avodah zarah. I'm sorry, I jumped the line. We're doing Rabba's mitaris tamei. Avalei even mesamashla. Rabbi Kiva imer avodah zarah hi v'haseita ve'evan mesamashla. Rabbi Kiva holds in Rabba's explanation that the avodah zarah itself is tamei. Someone that carries the avodah zarah is tummy, and if the avodah zarah is on a stone, anything that's under the stone is tummy. Okay, that's the way Rabbi is going to adjust the brisa. Now, Rabbi Elazar mitarts the tamei. Rabbi Elazar says, according to the way he learns the brisa, that there's a machlekes Rabban and Rabbi Akiva regarding carrying an avodah zarah. So it goes like this: Nachri benachris. When it comes to the non-Jew, you're right. Hein ve'aseitan ve'evim misamishalem. There you have the same din as a zav and a nida, that if someone carries them, the person that carries them may become tamei, and if they're sitting on a stone, what's underneath the stone becomes tamei. However, now avodah zarah, when it comes to an idol, he v'le'aseta. The rabbis hold only the avodah zarah itself, but not someone that carries it. You'd have to actually touch it. Rabbi Akiva avodah zarah he v'aseta. Rabbi Akiva says no, even touching the avodah zarah gives off, even carrying the avodah zarah gives off tuma. Okay. What we did over here was we just amended a brisa to fit with both Rabbi and Rabbi Elazar, and explaining the machlekes to the Rabban and Rabbi Akiva. We were using the words hein v'lei haseitan or hein ve'haseitan to mean them, the idol itself, and someone that carries them. Rav Ashi doesn't accept this translation. He has a problem with saying that they themselves are tamei, and also the one that carries, or they themselves are tamei, but not the one that carries. Like, what are you saying? They are tamei. What is the discussion? If the one that carries them are tamei, becomes tamei, do you have to say they become tamei? The they is there's an issue here with that extra term they. That's the way Rashi learns. Rashi has another pshat that he doesn't accept, but this is the way he's learning that the hein, when it says hein v'haseitan, why is that word there? Maskif la Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi asks like this: my hein, what are you saying? Hein, they are tamei. If haseitan is tamei, if someone that carries them is tamei, for sure they're tamei. Elam Rav Ashi says, this is what it means. Nachri v'nachris. You're going to have a little bit of a surprise in Pshat. So, a non-Jew, bein hein she'isitu achirim, bein achem she'isitu eisan. Whether they carried other people. That means that a zav, because a non-Jew has the status of a zav, that carries something becomes tamei. It's called Heset HaZav. Or other people carry the Zav, Tmeim, or Tami. That's called Masa. Someone carries the Zav. Avodah Zarah she'isitu acherim. Avodah Zarah that carries someone else is a little surprising, because how does Avodah Zarah carry anyone? I'm just going to ask that in a moment. So it's Tahar. Acherim she'isitu aisa Tmeim. But if someone carries an avodah zarah, it's tamei like masa. When it comes to the accessories, so that's just the tumas sheretz by avodah zarah. No carrying over there gives off tumah. Rabbi Kiva says, this was the explanation. Looks like, according to Rabbi Elazar, right? Thought it was explaining Rabbi, the Machlekes Rabbi. So, Achirim she'isitu eisa. Okay, it's fine. We're adding in an extra case here where the avodah zarah is carrying something else. Rabbi Kiva Omer nachri v'nachris ve'avodah zarah. What we said about carrying and being carried both ways because of tumah, Rabbi Kiva says that applies to the non-Jew and to the avodah zarah. Bein hein she'isitu esachem, bein achem she'isitu eisan tmeim. Whether the avodah zarah carries someone else, or someone's carrying the avodah zarah, it's tamei. Misham she'ah, but when it comes to the accessories, bein hein she'isitu achem, bein achem she'isitu eisan is tahir. All of that is tahir. Because it's just tumas sheretz. The Gemara says, 1 second, this is the obvious question. The Gemara asks it. Avodah zarah bishlei ma'achem she'isitu eisa. when it comes to others that carry an avodah zarah, we understand that avodah zarah is an item. Someone picks it up, could become tamei. Mishkachasla, that's possible. But how does an avodah zarah carry anyone? It's not something that can lift up anything. It's just that we're asking, just like explain what you mean when you say that it carries someone. How does avodah zarah carry someone? Amar Rami, brother Rav Yeva, Rami, the son of Rav Yeva, says, Kiditanan, we have a Mishnah that explains this. Hazav b'kaf maznayim. Let's say a zav is on a balance scale. Va'ichlem u'mashkim b'kaf shni, and there's food in the other one. This is some sort of diet. He has to weigh himself against the food. So he has food in the other side. So what happens is, kara hazav, the balance, so the zav weighs down, so the zav now lifted up the food. He was heavier than the food. So, Tameyan, the food becomes tummy. Why? Because the zav lifted it. We turn the page. Karu hein, but let's say the food lifted up the zav. So, we know that there's such a thing as masa. If someone carries a zav, he becomes tummy. But that doesn't apply to non-humans. Only if a human being lifts up a zav, it becomes tummy. But if food lifts up a zav, or anything else lifts up a zav, that doesn't become tummy. You have special halachas, even mesama, that things that are underneath, there's special halachas, but just lifting a zav without direct contact will not make the person tummy. If a zav lifts something else, that's called hesed. But here, lifting the zav will be tar. So what we're saying over here is that if there was an idol that was on one side of a scale, so it's going to be tar according to the Rabbanan, the things that are on the other side of the scale. If someone lifts up the idol, then that would be a masa of the idol, then that could be tamei, depending on which opinion you go like. Okay, that's where we explained. Now we say, Kaman Ozla, according to which opinion does it go? On top of Pei Gimel Amid Beis. Had the Tanya, this was taught in a brisa. Kolat meyas amesitas teres, chutz meyasetis shel zav. Anything that's tamei, that moves something, remains tahar. Anything that's tamei that moves something else remains tahar. Chutz meyasetis shel zav, except when a zav moves something. In other words, a zav that's on a scale that lifts up an item or the item lifts it up, lifts it up. So only by a zav would that item be tamei. There's no comparison to that in the whole Torah. Now, we just said that according to Rabbi Akiva, if you have food on a scale and avodah zarah is on the other side, and the food lifts up the avodah zarah, only if the avodah zarah lifts up the food would it be tamei. Right? Is that what we learned? Yeah. Only if the avodah zarah lifts up the food would the food be tamei. So, but if the avodah zarah does lift up the food and food becomes tamei, that's similar to a zav. And we have a statement that the only thing that the zav lifts, that the only tumah that when it gets lifted, the only thing that would become tamei by being lifted is through the being lifted by a zav, now we have a problem because Rabbi Akiva added into that avodah zarah. It says lema, like Rabbi Akiva. Let's say that this is not like Rabbi Akiva. Dik Rabbi Akiva kanami avodah zarah, because according to Rabbi Akiva, we have another instance of tumah going from an avodah zarah onto other items, just because it's on a balance. And the avodah zarah weighs down, the other items become tummy. We had a Mishnah or a Brisa that says that only applies to a zav. The Gemara answers, "Afilu teim Rabbi Akiva." You could say it fits with Rabbi Akiva. Teim zav v'chol dedamila. When you said zav, we meant zav in all its anything that's similar to the zav, which was referring to avodah zarah as well. Okay, that's an answer. Now, if you remember, we had this question before. We were saying that there's one sage that has a question about an avodah zarah that's disassembled. Does it give off tumah? And we kept quoting that in passing. Now we go back to that. It's really like gufa. But we didn't quote it in full, so we just say, Boy Rav Chama Bar Guria. Rav Chama Bar Guria asks a question. Avodah zarah yeshna leivarim eina leivarim. If someone disassembles an avodah zarah, but it's not broken, it's in pieces that could be reassembled. So an avodah zarah is tameh. Does it give off tumah when it's disassembled? So the Gemara explains Rav Chama Bar Guria's question. When a regular person can put it back together, a little thing you insert it here. It's like whatever, like a candelabra. Let's say Moshe's here. You can put it in. There's pieces that it goes in. So leiti balch, that's not a shaila. The commander mechaberes tummy. That's like it's attached. That's not a big deal. Our question is, when a regular person cannot put it back together, you have to take it to an expert to put it back together. It's not broken, but someone professional needs to put it together. What do we say? The fact that a regular person can't put it together, that means that it's broken, and therefore it's not tameh. No, it's not broken. It's not missing any pieces. Everything is right here. It goes back together. Yeah, you can't do it, but a professional can do it. So therefore, it still should give off tumah. That's one way of looking at Rav Chama Bar Guria's question. However, others look at it differently. They say, what was his question? We don't even know what his question. We have a question, what his question was. When a regular person can't put it together, then there's no shaila. The commander met for dummy. For sure, it's broken. You have to take it into the expert. This is considered broken. The shaila is when a regular person can put it together. What's the din? Because a regular person can put it together, it's considered attached. That's considered assembled because that's how it's made. But or maybe we say 1 second. Right now, it's disassembled. That's an interesting question. Teiku. Gemara leaves this as a question. It doesn't say which question it's leaving it at. There's 2 possibilities for the question. Okay, interesting. Boy Ravachta by Barami. Yassi, you see this? Ravachta by Barami has a question. Let's say you have an avodah zarah that's less than the size of an olive. Very small avodah zarah. Maskefler Rav Yosef Lamai. Rav Yosef says, what's your shaila? Eily ma. See, Rav Yosef is asking Rav Achtavai. Eily ma. If you say linin isura, you say it has to do with prohibition. Layela zvuv balikrin. 1 second. There was an avodah zarah that was like a fly. The Tanya was taught by Yisimulem Baal Bris Lele Kim. They made this Baal Bris, which is as a god. There's Zvuv Balikrin. This is Zvuv Balikrin. Malame, this teaches us everyone would have an image of their idol. They put it into their wallet, in the pocket. Even to Zaychra, when they would remember it, would take it out, they would hug it and kiss it. was a little pocket idol. When I went to Ir David, they have the tunnels that you walk through. So we had this tour. So the Israeli soldier, this girl, was giving the tour. So she said that they found over there small idols, little idols. So she asked, what would they think you do with the little idol? Why the little idols? So she said, well, just think about your cell phone. You have it in case of emergency. They would keep this little idol around just in case they get stuck. The camel breaks down or something. They have it to call the AAA. So they had this Vuv Balik, and they had these little idols. So Rav Achter has this question: an idol that's smaller than a kazayas. Rabbi says, "What's the shaila? It's an idol. Doesn't matter." Elul Tuma. I know regarding worship. If it's aser, so if it's aser ba'na, that's what it means. If it's aser ba'na, if you can have any benefit from it, so then it's for sure aser ba'na. But the question is, does it give off tumah? Does it give off the impurity? Even this goes to sheretz. Maybe it's compared to a sheretz. Masher, it's compared to this creeping creature. Masheretz b'kadasha, just like a sheretz is the size of a lentil. Afnami b'kadasha, so this is also, it's bigger than a lentil, it's tummy. Or maybe we say differently. Maybe we compare it to a corpse. Ma meis b'kazayas. We have two comparisons of Avodah Zarah. We'll say it neither. But definitely through touching it would give off tumah. So too, in just like touching a corpse is a kazayas of bisarames, of the flesh. So too, this would give off tumah only if it's kazayas here. It's not a kazayas. This Avodah Zarah. Rav Avi v'tema Rabbi Bar Ula. Rav Avi says, and some say Rabbi Bar Ula says Tashema. Started in the brayso. The Tanya, come and listen. It was started in the brayso. Avodah Zarah pchusa mikazayas ein batumah kolikar. If it's less than the kazayas, it's not tummy. Shenemar vayashlich asafar el kever b'nei ha'am. He threw the dust to the, I guess kever means to the graves of the people. Ma meis b'kazayas af Avodah Zarah b'kazayas. It has this comparison to the graves. So too, Avodah Zarah will only give off tumah if it's a kazayas, just like a corpse. For Rabbanan, okay, now we go back. We have an answer that it needs to be a kazayas to give off tumah. Rabbanan l'may hilchse iskers l'sheretz delay metami b'masa. Let's do that as a question. According to the Rabbanan, why is an Avodah Zarah compared to a sheretz? I said, okay, delay metami b'masa, because it doesn't give off tumah when you carry it. Just like a sheretz needs to be touched for the tumah to come off. So to Avodah Zarah, only touching, not carrying. L'nida, what is Avodah Zarah compared to a nida for? The ein leivarim. Well, it doesn't give off tumah if it's disassembled. L'meis, what does it have to do with the corpse? The le'metami b'kadasha doesn't give off tumah when it's the size of a lentil. The Gemara says, 1 second. This is all, like an arbitrary decision here. You took all of these things to make a leniency. It's compared to the sheretz that it only has this. It's compared to the nida that it only has that. And it doesn't have more. Let's say it's exactly the opposite. Why was it compared to the sheretz? To give off a bigger tumah, to give off a tumah even if the size is smaller. L'nida, what is it compared to the nida? To give off tumah even if it's on top of a stone and there's nothing under, and the stone isn't resting. It's just, it has utensils under it. Actually, maybe it's coming to tell us that there's tumas oil by Avodah Zarah. The Gemara says, no. This is your point. Tumas Avodah Zarah derabanan. The whole tumas Avodah Zarah is only rabbinic. V'kula v'chumra l'kula makshina and l'chumra le'makshina. And if we have options in rabbinic laws, do we go strict? Are we stringent? Are we lenient or are we stringent? We are lenient. That's the way it works with the Rabbanan. And this whole of the Tumas of Avodah Zarah is only rabbinic. Okay, the Gemara says, Minayin l'sfina shi Torah. How do you know that a boat is tar? A boat cannot be Makabal Tumah. Shnemer derech aniyah b'leiv yam. You have a pasuk. It says that as a boat goes into the heart of the sea. Okay, the Gemara says, Pshita, aniyah b'leiv yamhu. Obviously, the boat is in the sea. Hakamash malan, what's it coming to tell us? That a boat goes in the sea. It's kiyam. It's just like the sea. Mayam tahar afsfina tahar. Just like the sea never becomes tummy. So too, a boat doesn't become tummy. It's tar. Tanya was taught in a brisa. Chananya says, "Nilma de misak." We learn from a container. Now, a container, a sack. Here we're saying it's a wooden container. No, a sack is the container that usually that's made out of goat hair. But we're saying we're comparing other utensils to a sack, to this other container. Ma sack metaltal molivarek, and just like a sack could be carried empty or full. That's what it's made for, to carry things that are inside it. That's where you fill it. Afkol metaltal molivarek, and also anything that could be carried empty or full, that means it's a receptacle and it could be moved, even when it's full, is going to be tummy. It's coming to exclude a boat. A boat cannot be moved on dry land. And definitely not when it's full, but it probably can't be moved even when it's not full. That's why the whole complications of shipbuilding. You have to try to build it in a place where you're going to be able to get it into the water easily. So only things that could become tummy are things that could be moved on dry land, similar to a sack. So we have two limudim of why a boat is tar. One is because just like the sea is tar. Other one is because it can't be moved. My binai, what's the difference between these two sources of why a boat is tar? It could be nice fina shel cheres. Well, there are certain boats that could be moved. It's in the sea, but it could also be moved on dry land. I'm sorry?
A boat made out of earthenware?
Yeah. I saw understand it was like a little surprised. He wrote about this. He says it's very unlikely that they would use a boat made out of earthenware because even though it's waterproof, but it's so brittle that it wouldn't be a safe thing to use. So he said maybe what it means is that the boat was made out of other materials and it was sealed with earthenware. So it was made out of like some sort of wicker, like these baskets, and it had this coating on it that would seal it up. So whatever the case is, it's much lighter, smaller probably, and it could be moved. So, sorry? Okay. So, Mandamar Nia Belevyam, the one that says that it's in the sea, well, Hanami Belevyamhi, this is in the sea. Lamandamar Kasak, the one that says that it needs to be immovable, well, Hanach Dixivigabisak. Hanach Dixivigabisak, Dimentaltals Monliverekan in Eily, I will finish Shel Cheres, Afagav Dimentaltals Monliverekan. 1 second. Lamanda Amar Kasak. It's only those things that are said regarding a sack, that if it's a sack, that if it's carried full or empty, yes, but if not, not. But a sfina shel cheres, even though, is not compared to a sack. What is this saying? Oh, that's what it means. What it means is that what has the limitations of something that needs to be movable? That was only wood utensils or other types of containers. But a kli cheres did not have that restriction, those limitations that it needs to be movable. So therefore, a kli cheres even if it's not movable, it's still going to be tamei. It was only other types of materials that had that limitation. That's what we're meaning with this kli cheres, with this boat of cheres. Okay. Inami sfinas yardin. Here we go into that other one that's lighter. This is a sfinas yardin, a boat that goes into the yardin. Probably it's like a kayak or something. According to the opinion that says the boat is in the sea, and therefore, just like the sea is tar, so the boat is tar. Anami belev yam, so this is in the sea and it's tar. Lamandam taltelis molivereka, and Hanamim taltelis molivereka. And the problem is this boat is movable. It's a smaller boat that goes in the river, and so this would be tamei. Dam Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia. Rabbi Chanina ben Akavia says, why is a boat that goes in the river tamei? Because they carry it on the dry land. And they put it into the water. So if it's movable, you see, it's movable on dry land, then it's going to be tamei. Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. Person should never refrain from going to the Beis Medrash, even for 1 hour. We learned this Mishnah so many years. We never heard of Pshat. One time, Rabbi Chananya ben Akavia came, Chanina ben Akavia, he came, he explained it. See, we could have missed it. Just for one moment, we could have missed the Pshat if we didn't show up in the Beis Medrash. Rabbi Yonasan. Rabbi Yonasan says, person should never refrain from studying Torah, from going to the Beis Medrash, from learning Torah, even at the time of death. This is the Torah of a person that dies in the tent. Even at the time of death, a person should be studying Torah. Rish Lakish has another pshat in this. It's a famous Gemara. The Torah only will remain by someone that kills himself over it. That means that he only has one agenda, that's to study Torah. This is the Torah person that dies in the tent. The tent is the tent of Torah. Amar Rava. Rava says, carrying it on through oxen is considered carrying. Okay, let's leave it over here. I don't have to rush. Amar Rava. This is very